David Hall here from the Idea Centre, eager to share with you a whole bunch of innovation around the innovation process itself, which we're calling vision-led innovation. I can't go much further without acknowledging a number of conversations I've had with my good friend and colleague Jim Dorton. And what you're getting here is an Idea Centre take, shamelessly, on those conversations. Now, for any organisation that's looking at innovation, it invariably starts with a call for ideas which feed into what we call the innovation funnel. If you Google innovation, this innovation funnel will come up loud and proud. And what we've got here is time running from left to right, and we encourage individuals across the organisation to come up with as many ideas as possible that can assist in driving the transformation, the innovation that we're looking for. There's some sort of committee or group that will meet and filter those various ideas and decide which ones will go through into the pilot stage, and at that point we'll start injecting some time, some money and resource. Now, some of those pilots will invariably fail, and there are subsequent filtering processes that kind of weed out those that aren't going to cut it, aren't going to make it. And we hope that at the end of the day we get some sort of emergent innovation out. We put a whole bunch of ideas in and keep our fingers crossed and hope that some form of innovation or transformation comes out of the back end. The problem with this technique or this approach is that it's fundamentally flawed, because it's less of a funnel and more of a sieve. We put time and money and resource in, and we end up with wasted time, money and resources tipping out through the funneling process, and we have no guarantees of what's going to come out of the other end. It's the classic approach, and everyone draws it this way and runs it this way, but it's fundamentally flawed. The concept that we're sharing here, the vision-led approach, starts in a very different place, and we do the rather counterintuitive thing of turning the funnel on its head and doing it back to front. So we start small and end up big. And the key driver behind this process then, we're still running time from left to right, but at the very beginning of the process we invest in generating a big idea, the thing that we wish to deliver, the outcome from the innovation process. Now, this is a big idea. This is going to be stretched, seemingly impossible, derived from some ideal, perfect world, breaking all the rules of conventional and traditional thinking that we're locked within. And that's the point. If we want to do something different, we have to overcome the things that trap us in conventional and traditional thinking. So if we invest time in developing this huge idea that we're looking to develop, this market-changing initiative, this transformation, we can test it, we can cost it, we can refine it, we can expand it, we can go back and refine it again. We can work out what the return on investment is, because it's only an idea. There's no massive effort that's been invested, no time, no money at this stage. And once we've settled on what the big idea is that we're looking to deliver, that will then in turn drive the projects that will contribute to that big idea, with an absolute confidence that the only projects that we're going to kick off we know are congruent with that big idea and will help to contribute. So we end up putting in focused amounts of input and time, money and resources, minimizing the risk throughout the process. And what comes out through a multiplication process of those projects is a vision-led delivery of the innovation project. Now, the beauty of this is that we minimize the risk. We don't totally eliminate it, but we minimize the risk associated with the project because we're not investing in wasted projects. Far more focused. The key projects get drawn in from the vision. If we know what the answer is, then we can identify what the key projects are, that is sub-projects that we need to contribute to the overall innovation process. And it absolutely allows us to drive the process of step change. From an Idea Centre perspective, we've got techniques that will help generate the big idea, and we've got techniques that will assist us in the idea generation process and the sub-projects. So we can wrap around this process and help mentor and coach the organisation through the innovation process. Now, this tipping of the funnel on its head, radical, genuinely radical in its approach, we kind of know because we have examples over time where we know this approach works, and one of the classic ones is the space race. John F. Kennedy, way back in 1961, gave a magnificent speech in front of Congress when he stated, "I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal before this decade is out of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to Earth." A brilliant stretched vision. This is vision-led innovation that would then drive the US space program behind it for the following 8-9 years before Armstrong landed on the moon in 1969. Now, we all kind of assumed that this was done in collaboration with NASA, who had full foresight of what was about to happen when he made the speech, but far from it. What we discover is in the following weeks, JFK met with the director of NASA and had to apologise because he had no foresight of it whatsoever. And the director said, "Well, we've had time to think about it. We know already that there are a number of elements of the project that we know how to deliver, but we've equally been able to identify those elements of the project that we can't deliver, that we don't know how to achieve it yet, and what we need to do is to invest our energies in the short term, high priority in those particular innovation areas." And what came out of this was a magnificent planning tool driven by NASA based around the gap analysis, in which they could identify and prioritize the key challenges and then draw the innovations into those gaps and into those voids to allow them to deliver the overall vision-led approach. Now, What we're doing at the Idea Centre is helping organisations understand this and then putting the skills and the techniques in place to allow them to deliver this kind of approach in-house. If anyone's interested in any more information, please get in contact with myself. My email address is here. It will be a pleasure to speak.